dealing with a few problems this morning. Good morning, YouTube. Here with you on a Monday at 9:25 now in the AM. Yes, we have problems. Nothing insurmountable, but problems nonetheless. You may have heard me allude to there being a problem with the BDST. Ron's little video brought that to show a little bit more yesterday, Ron C. And he thought his problem, or the problem was that the radio station was just too strong, causing the distortion. But actually that is a symptom of the problem that we are experiencing with the BDST. Let me show you the circuit. Alright, what you see now is the BDST1 circuit. Now I have started doing this because it got too hard to handle with all the different revisions and things like that. So basically I've just named the file now BDST1 revision number, and that's it. I can instantly now go to the file manager in Windows and find out which one is the current version. And this is it. Problem we're having is with this circuit here, the input circuit. And what it is basically we're kind of overloading the audio before we even get to the audio amplifier, and we in a bid to get as much sensitivity and gain out of the circuit, we have kind of lost track of the fact that, you know, with a stronger circuit it's going to distort. So Bob is working on input circuits, and he is, I think, planning a video later that will discuss various scenarios as far as input circuits and distortion, and we're going to look forward to that because you know, the signal tracer itself should be a pretty simple piece of equipment. You know, this is the heart of it right here, the audio amplifier. Now, what you get to that audio amplifier is what you hear coming out of the speaker, obviously. And the better that you can do the job over here of getting that signal, that low signal into it to be amplified, that's a better situation. At the same time, it needs to be a balance of what's necessary to provide the proper level at the other end. In other words, you know, we can design a circuit to get radio waves out of the air with a crystal receiver. We know that. So, you know, if you take that and then amplify it a bunch of times, you may have over amplified, and that's what we're doing here. So I'm not going to dwell on this. This is what it is. Bob is working on the problem. I've been trying to help as best I can with my meager knowledge. My help involves, and I'm sure it's probably a hindrance more than a help, but it involves finding different circuits on the internet, saying, hey, how about this? Because I'll be the first to admit I am not that savvy on circuit design. And like I said, I can pretty much follow what they do. You know, I mean, basically a signal comes in here, it's amplified, goes amplified, and it comes out the speaker. You know? That's a simplified view of what happens. There's a lot goes into it, though, and Bob's the one that deals with that, and I appreciate that, I really do. He gets frustrated at times, as I do too. You know, we worked on this a little bit, and we thought, you know, maybe we're going to have to go back to this double pole double throw switch instead of the single pole. And I see, my problem is I can't see that being necessary because you have the Heath kit. It has a simple switch like this. Don over at Restore Old Radios it doesn't even have a switch on his. He just uses a RF probe and that's it. Now his does have a gain control. There, he probably experienced the same problems we're having, and decided to put the gain control in. So there's different solutions to the problem, but Bob's trying to come up with an eloquent one, and I agree with that solution. And we want the BDST to be a good signal tracer. So that's pretty much it on that. Now on to more BDST news. The labels are in. I do have them in my possession at this present time. They will be passed out to the beta testers. You guys that have the beta test units will be receiving these labels. Now, in addition to this front label, you get the side label and the back label. And there'll be 3 labels basically included in the envelope. So, we want you to go ahead and put them on. If I realize that there's going to be some changes made, but almost 100% certain this time this all will stay the same. And the only thing that may change is the board, and we are hoping that our beta testers will stay with us and continue to help us prove out this signal or the circuit and get a good design so we can get a good product here. So I've already spoken with one, so like I said, I'm going to talk to the other ones. But again, these will be sent out to them, and I think that'll make a nice appearing. If it doesn't work right, but still, it'll make it nice looking. It will work, though. That's what I'm saying. This is part of the aesthetics of it, and like I said, we'll knock out the signal problem here shortly, I'm sure. Alright, now on to the next little topic. We have the radio that Bill has boxed up here in this video. He made this little note here. It is in Seymour. As of right now, I haven't got a delivery confirmation. In other words, the out for delivery hasn't arrived yet in my inbox. But it is in Seymour. I did track it, and it is here. So I assume I will get it today. No reason to think any otherwise. I do have the caps for this radio. I think I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but I did get those in the other day from DigiKey, and I think I did mention them. But anyway, those are here. And like I said, I'll be able to get started on that as well. Alright, next up on the agenda is the 0 to 300 volt power supply. I'm sure you all may remember it. This circuit here is what I came up with originally. You can see the output of the power supply is up here. In other words, the red wire would be the 300 volts. The black wire here would be the ground, and they travel over here to the meter and go into the meter and does all that, and it comes out here. Well, that's all well and good. I have the common ground is right here on the end of the meter, or the negative of the meter output, and the negative here on the common for the filament voltages. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that is wrong. I got to thinking about this. That will basically negate the meter, the ammeter. In other words, it's just like, let me see if I can show you. Basically, like I said, it's just basically negating the meter, because there is an internal short in here from this negative on the meter power to this negative wire here. And if you have that and you have these two common, in other words, this one would be common with that one, then you basically have no ammeter, because this is where the ammeter action comes in, is this wire here to this wire here. In other words, the ammeter is hooked up between these two, and so if they are the same point, you don't have any ammeter anymore, so you can't do that. So what I came up with was this. Now if we look at this circuit, we are still using a common ground here, but instead of using the common ground on the output of the meter, we are doing it on the input, and that's where it needs to be. Like I said, that allows our ammeter to be in the circuit, and we'll feed out through that. So that's the difference there, and I did do a little streamlining of the actual wiring here a little bit so you can see a little bit better. But basically, it comes out of the power supply here, goes down here, and commons with the other circuit for the fan, which is the same circuit as the filament ground here, and it all commons together. In other words, it's all common ground on that one bus there, so that it will all work out just fine. And we have our separate meter power here, comes off the fan, goes into our meter power here, and this is our DC out coming out of here and coming around here and going into the meter here. So we get our sense voltage here for the meter BD or the voltage reading, and we get our ammeter here for our ammeter reading. So everything should work just fine. So that's my dilemma there as far as it is corrected. I also included, I don't know if you noticed that, but here's the pinout on the IRF 740. You have a gate, drain, a source on the chip itself, and here I've marked it on here. This was a little confusing to me, at least. I've never really seen these type of FET circuit diagrams before, and I really wasn't familiar with them, and so I had to do some research and get the correct way they are laid out, and also put in the base emitter and a collector for the BJT, and so that's that. So that is pretty much a look at all the things I am facing this morning. Like I said, it's just not a big problem, but one that had to be addressed, I guess, best way to say it. And I think we're working on the problems, and hopefully the solution will be clear, and we can get this on with this and get it done. Oh, one more thing, I did lay out a little bit different on the board layout. Let me show you that real quick. Alright, what you can see here is the board layout that I have redone. I've added two more inputs or outputs for the meter power here, and that really goes along with the schematic we just looked at, or wiring diagram, whatever you want to call it. Also, I've moved the output for the high voltage output here on the power supply down here to this will be one of those green terminal connectors with the screw terminals, and the output will be down here, and that shouldn't really cause any problems. It's just easier to connect and disconnect this from everything else, I think, is my whole goal there. I have the fish paper now for this. It will be underneath this, and I need to come up with 4 screws and standoffs for mounting in the case. I'm hoping to get some more done on this today. I've got started here. I've got basically these circuit, or these, what do you call it, in here. I've got wires on a couple of these here, and that's about it. But the rest of it will be easy to knock out once I get get going on it again. So that's that. So that's really all I'm dealing with today, is a few problems, and like I said, that's not a bad situation. I mean, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's pretty much the common goal, I guess, in life, is taking care of your problems and getting on with life. So I think that's what we're going to do. You guys have a pleasant day. Don't let your problems drag you down. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you.